Okay, you guys, I am going to start. This is the first time I've ever used Zoom. Actually, little caveat there. I've been on 3 Zoom calls, but I wasn't the moderator or the host, so I don't really know if I'm doing this right. But we will do this together, and if you're not happy with it, money back guarantee. Ha! You didn't pay, so don't complain. I want you to know I have my tiara on and I look professional from the waist up. I really won't comment what's happening below the waist right now. So what happened was I was frustrated with everything that was going on, and I had a lot of people email me and say they're scared, and I didn't know what to do beyond the local level where I am donating money and helping when I can. So I decided what I would do is what I do best, and I put together a webinar. So I have a 5-part series. I know people either have tons of time, I could do an all-day one, or don't have a lot of time. So I figured about 20 or 30 minutes each. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be talking about resilience. Oh, hold on, from beginning. Enter. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. And I'm going to give you my contact information and Jenny's in case you want to get a hold of us for any reason or give feedback. Once I understand the chat, and FYI, I cannot see the chat now. Once I can figure it out, then you can write during the presentation. So I was on one of these over the weekend, and the woman who was doing it called what we were going through as a collective global trauma moment, which I thought was really interesting choice of words. But it stressed me out a little bit. So I changed it at first to being a shared global trauma moment, because I think this might be the only time in the history, at least my life, where everybody in the world has been in this together. So then I changed it one more time because I wanted it to be an awareness moment. I'm an optimist, and my goal, I hope, is at the end of this that we get each other more and we appreciate more as humans, not just as Americans. So what do we expect? I'm learning. So that's one thing to expect. By the last one, I'll have it down. And I'm going to be giving you information that I think will be helpful during these times. It's helpful in life, but also during these times of extreme stress. I'm going to talk about resilience, which is the ability to bounce back, which is really important, and a lot of stress information. So let me explain this picture. Jenny and I were up in Yakima, Washington. Not a lot to do there. I spoke at a conference. So we made up this game, and you go to a thrift store and you have $10 to buy the other person an outfit they have to wear the whole next day. Now, I let Jenny trade the shoes I bought, which were fabulous gold and sparkly, but they broke and she complained. So I let her change her shoes and put a jacket on. But I call mine biscuit chic, and we called hers prostitute chic. Next. Oh, so that's how to get a hold of Jenny. Jenny at happypeoplewin.com. If you have a camera, grab it. You can take screenshots of what you like, or you can actually push the print screen to keep copies of any pictures or anything that you like. Next time, I'm going to be talking, giving you a lot of questions. So a camera might be good. I'm also going to put anything that I have that would be hard for you to screenshot onto my Happy People Win Jean Steele Facebook page. You can also contact me. I am not going to be looking during this first time because, of course, I have to focus, but that is my email address, my personal email address. This is kind of the theme for what we're going through. Things may never go back to normal. You may need to create a new normal, and that's okay. And the reality is, I think this is going to change our world forever. I am not thinking, as an optimist, that this is going to be bad. I think that we're going to go through some tough times, and it's going to end up being great. So if you're not familiar with me, and I think most all of you have probably heard me speak, I have a master's degree in wellness, in mind-body health. And I got it after meeting a client when I was an educator at a hospital who had so many physical ailments as a result of trauma that his daughter had. She was in an accident, she was unable to walk again. And it manifested in cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, insomnia, migraines, all these physical problems. And I was so fascinated how external events can affect us internally. And this is really important for you to know as well. You might be getting sick because your immune system is suppressed because of stress, and it isn't the virus, you are just stressed out. So it's an expanded view of health. And what wellness is, it's much more than just physical health. It includes emotional, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and social. I also want to give a shout out. I've written 2 books, and all of the pictures in my PowerPoint, the drawings, and in my books were drawn by my sister Susie, who's very right left brain. She was an air ambulance nurse and now runs an EMT program, and she happens to draw as well. And the price is right, having your sister draw the pictures. So my goal for all of this is to create a culture of kindness. And a culture of kindness has to start with being kind to yourself. If anybody talked to you the way you talk to yourselves, you would hate them. How many of you woke up this morning, rhetorical question, because I don't have chat on, looked in the mirror and you went, damn, I forgot I was so good looking. Most of us don't. And we need to be more positive and kind to ourselves before we can even attempt to be kind to others. So the first thing I want to talk about is happiness. I love this topic, and it's something that I assume we all strive for. But there are some people that I've met who thinks it should just be a natural way of being. And unfortunately, when we're stressed, our brain tends to go toward the negative. So we have to focus ourselves on purpose on the positive. So a lot of the information I get comes from one of my favorite books. First of all, Harvard, legit. Secondly, it is neuroscience research. And I'm going to share with you some of the things that I read in this book. First of all, we know happiness is the experience of positive emotions. So, that is happiness. Can you hear it? Deborah, I see you. Put your thumb up if you can hear the video. Okay, good, Vicki, thanks. So it's also about optimism for the future. If you say, I'm super happy today, it's fabulous, we're all gonna die tomorrow, then you are by definition not happy. There's also no single meaning. It is very subjective. So what might make one person happy, another person might not. I live in wine country. I stopped drinking wine after Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill back in the day. So obviously that isn't something that makes me happy. So it's different strokes for different folks. Here's an example. Look at this little boy who is so excited with 3rd place. Absolutely darling, subjective happiness. 1st place is going, 3rd place is best day ever. Having stuffed animals in the United States for most kids is not a big deal, but even used stuffed animals for this village in Africa is best day ever. Pure joy on their faces. Pizza party, not a big deal for most of us, but if you're 2 little girls with cancer in the hospital, best day ever. Look at this. Look at the squalor, and she is jumping with a tape measure with, again, pure, absolute joy. Now, this one makes me laugh because this guy won biggest onion in Great Britain. And if I probably photoshopped it and put a baby in there, it would look just as legit. And I love it because, again, he is so excited. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is, I'd say 100% of the people get it when I show them this picture. And this was taken when I was in Indonesia, and I cried. It was such a magical moment. And most everybody I speak to says, yeah, okay, absolutely. Now the next one, It's about 50-50 when I show this picture of people who say yes or no. I got to hold a baby anteater. Best day ever. I cried. And it's interesting to me, and that's why happiness is subjective, because I meet a lot of people at my conferences who go, oh no, it is so ugly. No, it isn't. And so again, subjective happiness. You need to find what makes you happy and not worry about what makes other people happy. Happiness is a warm puppy. I'm sure most people agree with that. So what I want you to do, this is kind of your first homework assignment. I want you to think of the little things that make you happy. Years ago, my brother did this activity with his kids, and his daughter Madison said hot chocolate and whipped cream, and we never have it. And my brother was thinking, well, it never gets cold, but guess what? Maddie wanted hot chocolate and whipped cream. So think about your simple pleasures and write them down. And this is a great thing to do with your family or friends, just the little things. A simple pleasure is not flying to Paris and having a croissant. It is little things that make you smile. So the book also talks about something that's kind of not thought of in the United States. We tend to think of once you are successful, you become happy, but research shows that you need to be happy to become successful. This book also talks about how brain change is possible depending on how you live your life. And I think this shows 100% in people I meet or my own personal experiences. What you see depends mainly on what you look for. So if you are looking for the negatives, guess what? Your brain will help you find them. If you're looking for the positives, the brain does the same thing. This is one of my favorite quotes. Every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. So I have trained my brain to look for the positives. When you're putting your kids to bed tonight, ask them, tell me one thing that happened today that was awesome, and you will be surprised at some of their responses. So we can prime our brains to focus on the positive or negative side. Make this sign, put it on your front door. Years ago, I was trying to find if I could have this sign made and give it to people at my conferences. Because sometimes if you had this outside your workplace, you might have 50% of your staff that goes, oops, can't go to work today because I'm not feeling happy. Put it outside your door. Do not let people come in to visit you who are cranky, because that mood will transfer to you. My friend told me a great story. She was in charge of elder services at Methodist Hospital, and I think Sue is on here. Hi, Sue. And she told me a story that she had an elderly client who was in a wheelchair. And when she went out to meet with her, she saw that her wheelchair didn't have the tube to blow into. And she knew the woman was completely paralyzed. And she said, how do you move your chair? And she said, I am so lucky. I lost everything except the feeling and movement in my left foot, so I can move my chair. And Arlene's thinking, oh my God, this woman just said she was lucky. And so whenever she's having a bad day, she kicks off her left shoe and wiggles her foot to remind herself how lucky she is. Cool, huh? So I'm going to give you some proven ways to make you happier. And what research shows is just these quick bursts can have a cumulative effect and make you happier overall. So that's the important part. You think, well, I'm doing it for 3 minutes, big deal. But it does have a cumulative effect. Choose joy. It is a choice. It is an absolute choice. And I've had people say, no, I'm only happy if people around me are nice to me. I'm not banking on everybody else wanting me to have a good day. So I choose it. Look at these pictures. This is pure joy. Even the baby elephant. This was so lovely. If you get my newsletter, I wrote about this a few months ago. This man was a forest ranger and is on hospice care. He is dying. And he had a dying wish to be brought back out to the forest. And they made it happen. And even though this man died a few days later, he was so joyful to be in his environment.
Ready? Now we're gonna go faster. Are you ready? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Everybody.
Pure joy. So one of the things I've done as long as I can remember is before I even stick my foot out of the covers, I make a decision every single day whether or not I'm going to have a good day. It's a conscious decision. Now, last year I had one pity party for Jean Day, and I haven't even had one yet this year. And what I did is I woke up, I thought today's gonna suck, and luckily I could stay home and just wah all day and eat cereal and read a book. And it was super fun. But most of the time, every other day of the year, I decide this is gonna be a good day. So you cut me off on the freeway, you give me the stink eye, it doesn't matter. I've already decided to have a good day. Do not give your power over to anybody else. Make your own decision for your day. So today, I will only see the positives. That is a really good mantra. We're going to talk about mantras in another session. If you say, I cannot do the whole day, try for the next hour. And if the next hour is overwhelming, try it for the next 5 freaking minutes to just only see the positives. I'm going to talk next session about gratitude, and I'm going to give you a lot to think about. So here's some tips for becoming more positive. Find something to look forward to. A couple of things about that. Anticipation makes the pleasure more intense. So just thinking about it, isn't that right? Think about something cool you have coming up and you're going, I can't wait, and you're really thinking about it. So what I want you to do is I want you to make a list of the things that make you happy that you want to do or you've already done. So for 5 years, I wanted to go to this festival called the Rise Festival. It's in the Mojave Desert, and the pictures I saw were just magical. And there's thousands of people, and it's an all-day event, and as soon as it gets dark, everybody has about, I think, a 3 or 4, maybe 3-foot lantern that's completely biodegradable, and they pick up everything that isn't after the event. They make sure it's cleaner than when they got there, the desert. And we all lit and let go of the lanterns at the same time. It was such an amazing experience. Here's me and one of my friends, Jennifer, watching it, and we were crying. And so people said, oh, thank God it was great, because what if you were excited for 5 years and it sucked? Well, nothing could take away my 5 years of excitement. That's the thing. It ended up being magical, but just the anticipation was also great. So another homework assignment is make a list of when this is over. When you can get back out of your house, what are you going to do? Go to your favorite restaurant. When this is over, the first thing I'm going to do is give my loved ones a big old giant hug, because I am a hugger. And maybe you thought you always wanted to go to XYZ. Well, make a plan to go to XYZ. This is a cool book, and I choose a lot of my adventures based on this book because I train all over the United States, and I look up not to see the normal things, go to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. It's random, cool, weird things. Do you know the biggest bat, it's like 5 stories, is in Louisville, Kentucky. There is a giant Red Ryder wagon in Spokane. Cool things. And travel happiness actually spikes in the planning stage. So even though you're homebound, this is the thing. You can still be excited about a trip. Now, I know I have people, I have some from Indiana on this. I have Washington, Oregon, California, Idaho, Arizona, and Utah. So I don't know if you've all been confined to home, but we have for a while here in California. Another thing which I talk about a lot is my favorite thing, YouTube videos.
Tasha, Tasha, where are you? Tasha. Yeah. Tasha, where are you, Tasha? Tasha. Yeah. Tasha, where are you? Where are you, Tasha?
I know. Tasha doesn't want to come in. So interestingly, research shows the most popular videos are cat videos. And this one isn't even a video, and it totally makes me laugh. Here's another one I love.
Anything in the bathroom? Nothing?
I was putting some lipstick on, and then I was getting my phone.
So you put, what did you put on?
Lipstick on.
Oh, whose was that?
It was my lipstick.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Did you ask anybody if you could put it on?
I asked myself.
Did you see how it looked?
Yeah.
Well, how do you, if you could describe it, how would you describe it?
Like
What?
Like a noonie was. Like a noonie has recognized her mom's, and he pretended it hers.
So whose lipstick is that?
And mine,
You bought it?
Yeah.
Where'd you buy it at?
my lipstick.
Yeah.
I buy it from Home Depot.
I know, absolutely, darling. I buy all my lipstick from Home Depot, so I get it. So these are two of the channels I love, the Dodo and Viral Hog, for good, fun, short, lovely videos. So what research also shows is just the anticipation of laughing decreases stress hormones. Brilliant. And you know what? I love whoever this is, because he or she knows that it'll make the neighborhood happy. 5 minutes with your hands in soil will reduce your stress. 6 minutes reading a book. Even looking at a picture of someone hugging will make you happier. Joy Buddy. One of the things that's so wonderful about technology is we can let people know on a regular basis easily how we feel about them. So I was speaking at a conference, and those of you who are tuning in from Arizona, you might have been at the conference. So I'm speaking at a conference, and I get a text right before I go on stage from my sister. I love you to the moon and back. So I shared that with the people in the audience. And this woman came up to me afterwards, and she said, I love that you shared that. And don't be mad, but while you were still talking, I immediately sent a separate text to each of my 3 sisters to tell them that I love them. I went, awesome. And she goes, do you want to see what they wrote back? I go, yeah. And the first one wrote, oh my God, I'm freaking out, call me. The second one wrote, are you dying? The third one wrote, I'm freaking out too. And so she goes, obviously I don't tell them enough. And think about that. If you got a text like this, what would your first reaction be? My first reaction is, I love you too. Not that, oh my God, are you gonna live? Zoom calls, we're on one now. I've done, I think 4 in the last few weeks. And one of the things I did, you guys, which was in the last week, excuse me, was I did a Zoom call that my friend Maureen set up with my friends from ISB. And ISB stands for International School Bangkok. And I went to junior high in Bangkok, and we had a Zoom call, and it was almost 3 hours, and it was so much fun, and we were laughing. And this is what I thought: why in the hell are we waiting for a crisis to get together with people? Right now, Zoom, which I'm so impressed, has a free option that you can talk for as long as you want. And I signed up with them because I thought, for a paid thing, because I thought, I love you guys for doing that. So check it out. Another homework assignment: write down, who do you want to catch up with? And first of all, this doesn't mean catch up when you're out of the house again. It means who can you catch up with Zoom? And my sisters and I are going to call our friend Tim, who we've known forever, who lives in Massachusetts, and do a Zoom call. Again, isn't it funny how this is a silver lining of this? We're reconnecting with a lot of people. Now I want to talk about changing your mindset. And I am very fortunate. I only have one person who I quickly have to say unfriended on Facebook, who is being a lunatic about this, who thinks she is dying every single day. And it stresses me out. So here's some things to think about. Stop your stinking thinking. Stop focusing on the negative. Instead of saying, oh, I'm stuck at home, change it to be, I could just be safe in my home, and I could just spend some time with my family, or I get to spend some time by myself. Or I get to be safe at home and stay in my PJs and even wear no pants. And I'm just saying, day 8. People who say, I will get sick, move that till I will self-isolate and do what I need to significantly reduce my chances. If you're worried about survival, instead, change your brain to be thinking about living. So what we need to do is when we start having the stinking thinking and start really ruminating on the negatives, to grab that and stop and say something positive. Switch it to something positive. Stop complaining. Gotta say, and we're going to talk about this in another session as well. I did a month trip to Africa last year, and I've been WhatsApping my friends over there. And you think you have it hard? I mean, many of them have nothing to their name and have to self-isolate. And remember when you used to complain at the bank? It's like, oh my God, get another teller. And now we're thinking, I can't wait till I can go into my bank again. Another thing that's important is giving back. And I know it is hard during this time, but I have to say, I'm so impressed with the women locally who are sewing and making masks for the people who desperately need them in our community. One of the cool things is we have a lot of flower growers. There's a lot of ag where I live. And one of the companies went and made 4,000 beautiful bouquets and put them in front of people's doors in my town. That is wonderful. Another local guy said he will get anyone the distilled water they need for certain medical apps or medical, like a CPAP and other things. He's willing to donate that. My friend Missy went on a walk, and the kids in the neighborhood, one family, put little chalk writing on all of the sidewalks to give motivation to people. How sweet is that? So this is one of the groups that I'm in, which in San Luis Obispo, and it's helping people. And this one popped up too. And it makes me emotional when I see someone saying, this woman wrote this morning, my dad's 91, he lives by himself. I live in Washington, I cannot help him. Is there anybody who can do the following? And within 2 minutes, people volunteered. There's kindness out there. And what Fred Rogers said is absolutely true. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And I think that's what's coming out now. Another thing I want you to do is create your personal prescription. So what can you do in your house? 5 things that you need every day to have a good day. I'll share mine. Flowers every single day. And I have flowers in my office right now that strangely are live, and they've lasted 2 weeks since I spoke at a conference and I got flowers. But I will go out to my garden and pick some because it makes me happy. Now, another thing I love every single day is hugs, and I can't do that right now. So I changed my second thing is to educate both myself. I'm taking classes online, and also to educate others. Animals every single day. And I have to say, having my cats here makes me happy. I took this picture. This is when they were babies. Laugh every single day. I'll go on YouTube. I'll do a Zoom call. I love to laugh. And the final thing I need every single day, and some of you who've heard me speak know this, even though I'm a strong, independent woman, I love my boyfriend. Now, I don't believe that both people in a relationship have to know about it. So hence my boyfriend. Well, here's your homework all lined up. Contact 5 people you'll catch up with. Create your personal prescription of the 5 things you need every day to be happy. List 10 simple pleasures, little things. Pick 1 statement you will stop using. And this is a good one for your kids. You can suggest that they stop using, I'm so bored. And start a when this is over list. Some final tips. Now, I thought I made this up, but apparently it is used in some organizations. 1 day at a time. I am not worrying what's going to happen tomorrow. I am focusing on today. When people call you and just complain or moan and groan, I feel very comfortable saying, I love you. I need a break from this because I am not going to focus on the negativity. We're going to talk more about this in the future session, but we only have control over 3 things in our life: the thoughts we think, the images we visualize, and the actions that we take. That is it. If you want to legally stalk me, you can go to the Happy People Win page, and I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn. Here's another picture of Jenny. She went down with me to the zoo when we held the baby anteater. And if you want to have me do this for your business or have any questions, you can also email Jenny. Our next session is Tuesday at 10:30. And on that note, I am done. And thank you so much for tuning in. I'm thinking, although I don't have my chat on, that this might have worked well. I only have Deborah, Vicki, and Cynthia in my boxes. Vicki, good? Deborah, good? Yeah. Oh, 2 thumbs from Deborah. Thanks, you guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you. Oh, I just saw Ross. Ross, are you just turning in now? Okay. My little boyfriend, Ross. 2 thumbs up. Love you guys. Talk to you next week.